Hello everyone, this is Neha. I hope you all are knowing that from today we are going to start about our history of English literature subject, and we will complete step by step of all the ages. So starting with the 14th century, the most famous poet of this age is Geoffrey Chaucer. So we are going to study about Geoffrey Chaucer first, and then we will continue to our 14th century chapter number 1. So Geoffrey Chaucer was born on 1342 London, England, and he got died on October 25, 1400 in the year 1400 in London. Chaucer was an outstanding English poet before Shakespeare, and he was known as the first founder of our language. He was widely considered the greatest English poet of the Middle Ages, and he is best known for the Canterbury Tales. The Canterbury Tales is a long poem written by Geoffrey Chaucer. Chaucer has been styled the father of English literature and was the first writer who was buried in Poets' Corner of Westminster Abbey. Chaucer also achieved fame in his lifetime as a philosopher and astronomer, composing the Scientific, a treatise on the astrolabe, for his 10 years of old son, Lewis. He maintained an active career in the civil service as a bureaucrat, courtier, and diplomat. Among his other works, the Book of Duchess, The House of Fame, The Legend of Good Women, and Troilus and Christe. He is seen as crucial in making legal the literary use of the Middle English vernacular at a time when a dominant literary languages in England were still French and Latin. His last poem, The Complaint to His Purse, is a letter asking King Henry for money. It is quite likely that in the last years of his life he was constantly asking the king for money. So important was he deemed as a poet that the space around his tomb was later dubbed the Poet's Corner, and luminaries of English letters were laid to rest around him. So let's talk about what was going in English literature before Chaucer. In the 14th century, English literature began far back with the beginning of the history of English people on the continent of Europe. The early English literature is called Anglo Saxon period, that is from 450 to 1050, or the Old English period. Celts and Saxons came to England from Germany and Denmark respectively. After intermarriage, they became Anglo Saxons, and after that, Normans came to England from a place in France, that is Normandy, and were known as Anglo Normans. They ruled England and came with a French dialect. French language was generally used by rich people, courts, etc. In 1350, the great and hidden life of the Anglo-Saxons finds expression in all their literature. Their poetry is permeated with the spirit of adventure, love of sea and plunging boats, battles, brave deeds, the glory of warriors, and the love of home. And there were some important works in this period, that means before Chaucer. So the first one is Beowulf. It is the first Old English epic. It recounts the great deeds of death of Beowulf. It is written on continental Germanic theme. The extant text is written in West Saxon dialect. The story of Beowulf is full of episodes and digressions. At last, the poem closes with the descriptions of his burial, like sad in mind, they complained of the sorrow of their hearts, the deaths of their liege lord. Beowulf has an abiding social interest. The language of the poem is characterized by forcefulness, directness, simplicity, expressiveness, and precision. The next important work of this period is Widsith. This work comprises of 150 lines of verse, and it is an account of a supposed wanderer who is wandering here and there, and this accounts of the wanderings of Widsith. It also recounts the places and people the hero that visited. The third important work is Valdera. It comprises of almost about 63 lines which narrate some of the exploits of Walter of Aquitaine. Its language is noticeable for vigor and power. The fourth work is Miscellaneous Poems. These are three poetical fragments. First one is The Fight at Finnsburg. Second one is The Battle of Budneber. And the third is The Battle of Malden. These three have little literary importance, but it has more historical importance. Fifth one is the Exeter Book. It contains seven short elegies of abiding human interest. They are The Wanderer, The Seafarer, Ruin, The Wife's Complaint, The Husband's Complaint, Dear, Wilf, and Eduacer. So, the most important of all these five works is Beowulf only, but I have described something about all of these. So, that's your point of view if you need to listen more of these. So, these are some of my notes which I want to share with you all that about this topic, Christianity and the Old English poetry. And it's all about that there are some distinguished poets like Sidmon, Cinewolf, and Judith. So these are some of the poets which were in the 14th century before Chaucer. So we will study deep about these poets. So if you want to take some help of these notes, so you can. Next one is Canterbury Tales. It is the most important poem written by Chaucer in the year 1392. So Chaucer wrote Canterbury Tales in the year 1392, and Canterbury is a place in England. Chaucer was a diplomat, so he traveled a lot. As a result, he had a very wide outlook and he had a very deep knowledge of every man, either rich or poor, as he traveled a lot. So this poem describes about all his wanderings and how he got into a troop of different people and they shared some stories of their life. So this is all about a collection of poems. Thanks for watching up till this end, and we will continue the rest like system of medicine and condition of women at that time, the rising middle class, and much more in the next video. Till then, if you do like the video, please do not forget to like the video and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Till then, take care, stay tuned, and bye bye.